There we go. Okay, I believe we're live. Welcome to the Missouri Freedom Initiative. It is Sunday, April 3rd, 2022. Hey, listen, gang, if you could give us a 5x5, that would be just awesome. Let us know if you can hear us okay. And while we're waiting for 5x5s to come in, I'd like to start by talking a little bit about why people are cynical today about politics. And actually, that's a really, really simple thing to talk about. And it's actually just loaded down with common sense. It's steeped, if you will, marinated in common sense. If you go to Washington, D.C., or you don't have to go there. In fact, I don't really recommend it. You make a phone call, you send an email, you write a letter, and you get nothing out of your representation. They don't care what you think. And you go decade after decade, election cycle after election cycle, year after year, and nothing positive ever gets done. It makes you think that basically government itself doesn't work. Well, on the federal level, you would be correct. What people keep forgetting is how much good you can get done on your local and state levels. And that's what the Freedom Initiative is all about, is actually working to make the state of Missouri a better, freer place with more liberties than any other state in the union. I wish we had a competition going on with other states around the union. Maybe we do, and I'm not aware of it yet. But that's one of the reasons why I think people should be starting their own freedom initiatives in their states to actually do the kinds of things we do. But another thing people are cynical about is they hear about the bad news in the state. And tonight we're going to give you some news about some initiatives that are currently, one that passed through the House and has gone into the Senate, and two that are currently existing in the Senate that don't look so good. You don't have a really good feeling about the world after you read, some of these bills. But the thing is if they're not exposed, if they're not talked about, and if they're not dealt with, then they persist. They fester. And sometimes they get passed. An excellent example would be Schatz's gas tax that happened last year. We're not going to talk about that tonight, but we are going to talk about ballot initiatives and what they mean and what they're actually trying to attempt to do. And these are, brought forth by some senators we know that are good senators. We just truly don't understand their reasoning behind what they're doing. So I'd like to start out by giving a shout out to everyone on YouTube. Hey, we have Michelle Mamil with us. Awesome. We haven't seen Michelle in a long time. It is great to have you back. Let's see. I'm going to read one thing from YouTube here that came from Dina Fash even before the YouTube started. And that is, so Missouri really isn't a bad state politically. It's not a red state politically. It's more of a dollar color money state. You got to vote out and remove these clowns, however possible, to get better people in. We're going to be dealing with that this year, but she is absolutely correct. We do have some bad players in the state of Missouri. Once again, guys, we tell you how awesome Missouri is, but there are some bad things in Missouri too, and we're trying to correct those things. But in order to correct them, we have to bring them out into the light of day. Many other states don't do this. So those states may seemingly be better just because you don't have liberty movements exposing the bad things within those states. In Missouri, we're very realistic about it. We want to shine lights in the darkness. That's what we're doing. And it's uncomfortable sometimes, even for me and for, everyone in the alliance. It's uncomfortable to do this, but it must be done. Okay, so we have Gary Ride with us. Hello, Gary. BH is with us. Of course, I mentioned Michelle, Voodoo Queen, Sheraton Farmer, Warrior Class 3, Jay Royal, Ganai, Hibiscus. Let's see, we've got Latanya, Triple T, and Missouri Liberty Report is with us. Awesome. And Jonathan Ashley. So hello to everyone there. And on the Discord side, and on the Discord side, we have, an all-star cast with us tonight. We have Doc Webb, we have Donkey Punch, Casey Rich, Liberty Revolutionary, also known as Caleb, Rebel Cry, and Robert E. Smith, who, by the way, is one of those good people running for office, by the way. And not that we're, promoting people running for office at this point in time, but I just want you to know that Robert Smith is one of those good people running for office. That's what we'll say at this point in time. So All right, so let's start out by a general discussion here before we hit a few bills. And by the way, we're going to make it as short as possible. We're not going to be reading text from the bills. We don't want to bore you guys, but we want to make you aware of bill numbers that we should probably make some phone calls and send some emails on. So, hello to the gang. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Doing all
Good.
right.
Try not to cough up a lung.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Other than that,
good.
you're good. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's talk about a few bills here real quick. First of all, the Missouri Senate, and I'll go get my phone and we'll make a phone call or two just so you guys can see what that's like. But I'm going to start with HJR 79, House Joint Resolution 79. That is not in the House anymore. It's now in the Senate. And basically, this is a bill that, let's see if I can get the perfected version of it. There it is. Oh boy, another long bill. I don't want to read it. But what it does is it basically takes, we're talking about ballot initiatives. So let me explain ballot initiatives real quick. For those of you who don't know what a ballot initiative is, it's the ability of the voters to basically go out and petition, collect enough signatures to actually get something put on a ballot. It can be local or it can be statewide. And what's happening is we have an assault on the voters. Basically, I use that word as appropriately as possible. We have an assault on Missouri voters to raise the requirements of how many signatures are needed to get something on a ballot. Now I'm going to have Casey. In fact, even before we go into legislation, I'm going to talk to Casey Rich again because he actually went up and actually participated in a committee hearing in Jefferson City about 3 weeks ago or so to actually address one of these. And then the reason I'm going to have Casey Rich talk is because he would be second person right now to give us explanations from and he's done this before, but explanations from our senators why they want to raise the amount of signatures needed for ballot initiatives. Because we're going to start there, because we're going to have to ask these guys on the phone too. But Casey Rich, you've got the floor. Kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, as far as the reason why they want to raise these thresholds that they give, first one is they're worried about out-of-state entities coming in here and putting things on the ballot. And that might not be what they want. And they think by raising these percentages, it'll shut them down and stop them, or at least that's the reason they give, or it'll make it harder or whatever. Problem with that is if you somebody with a ton of money like Amazon, George Soros, or you got a lot of connections or something, and you're going to have the money, the organization, they can raise the thresholds and they're still going to be able to do it. The problem is the ones who aren't going to be able to do it is us, the average people, that try to organize, put together a petition. By raising these thresholds, they'll make it practically impossible because it's hard enough as it is. Believe me, a lot of people try putting petitions together and just fail from lack of funding or organization. So it's not an easy process, no matter what they try to tell you. It might be easy for the people with the money, but not us. And I guess what they're worried about when it comes to that, I guess they're thinking, well, there might be some bad petitions up, what I'm saying? Legislation would be the right word, but you know what I'm talking about. They try to put stuff on a ballot that they don't want. Well, first of all, who are these guys to tell us what's good and what's bad? I think I can vote for myself. You know what I'm saying? So that's the second thing. And the third thing that's been brought up is that every time there's amendments to the Constitution or something, our Constitution gets thicker and thicker. The law books get thicker and thicker, and they want to keep it trimmed down. And my answer to that is I don't care if it gets thicker in a phone book. What's more important is that I have ballot access. And because if there's something that because basically just got two parties in Missouri. There's a couple other parties, but they really don't have no power to even get on, get anybody elected. So basically you got one party and another, and there's a lot of times they won't put stuff, they won't pass laws that people want, or they'll try and shove laws down our throat that we don't want. And that's what that ballot initiative is for. When they don't give us what we want, or they try to give us something we don't want, we fight back with the ballot initiative. All right. No matter what's been on the ballot, you can't have, not everything's going to be for everyone. But the point is, we the people can try and make a law if we can't get it from them, or we can try and stop law that we don't want this state to give us. You also have to look at this. I mean, when the federal government goes awry, we use our state government to fight them. If our state government goes awry, that ballot initiative is what we use to fight them. And what they're trying to do is take it away by raising these thresholds, because it's going to make it impossible for most people. You know, that's basically what it comes down to. But those are like the 2-3 reasons they give mainly. But all those can be explained away pretty easy. And I guess that other one, yeah, I hate to say it, but, you know, Senator Bratton was telling me, he says, well, you know what? I have to work hard. I had to work hard to get elected, so you can work harder too. You know, what that has, I mean, I said it nicely when I was, you know, on the committee. I said, look, man, you're comparing apples and oranges. How hard you have to work to get elected has nothing to do with people having the power. You know what I'm saying?
Philosophically, he was wrong to begin with to even say that.
Yes.
Here's the important part. The fact is, if there's a really good idea that we need to bypass the General Assembly for and present to the voters of Missouri, they're making it harder for us to do so.
Exactly.
And conventional wisdom will tell us that over 50% of the people will like a good idea and will vote it in. But what it is it's also it's a tool for several things. Casey, you've done a fine job of covering that. It's not just so that we can get something in and bypass the General Assembly. It's also it's almost a safety valve for us. Basically, if we have serious problems with a particular politician, to get someone removed from office. That is also what ballot initiatives are used for, gang. So politicians, of course, know this. So that's one of the reasons as well. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Casey. Go ahead.
A couple other reasons they threw out there. One is they say, there's a lot of states that don't even have a ballot initiative, which, what does that have to do with us?
Yeah.
Are you trying to say because they don't, then we shouldn't either?
Apparently,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we need to be competing with states with less liberty and less freedom, apparently.
Less freedom, exactly. And then another one is they say, well, in the federal, our Constitution of the United States doesn't say anything about ballot initiative. But then again, you go to the 10th Amendment, that's a states' rights thing. If we want a ballot initiative in our state government, that's totally up to us. There's nothing in the Constitution saying we can't do that. Again, they're throwing out a bunch of reasons that really hold no water. So there's got to be an ulterior motive. They basically, I'll come out and say it. They want to take away our right to use ballot initiative. But what they want to do is they want to take it away without taking away the initiative. If you understand what I'm saying here.
Yep, I do.
So they want to make it so hard that you can't really do nothing to it. But they can say, well, you got the ballot initiative process.
Yep.
That's pretty much what it is. I mean, they ain't going to come out and say that.
Yep.
And I guess, they can sue me or something if they don't like the fact that I said it.
It's government tactics 101.
Sure. Yeah.
Something that can be used against them. They're going to be like, well, we're not taking it away, but they're just going to make it so convoluted and hard to use.
Yes.
And it's just a tool of tyrants.
We have to work hard, too, so you can work harder. What the heck?
And remember, even California has a ballot initiative. They collected 2 million signatures to do a recall on their governor. And so it would be something very similar to that in Missouri. If we had a problem with our governor and we felt the need to recall him, we would have the ability to do so with a ballot initiative.
See, I think that's another thing they're worried about. That's a very good point, Patrick.
Yeah. So, okay.
People seem to forget that government doesn't have rights.
No, we have the rights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I guess politicians forget that government doesn't have rights. The moment they, become elected, they are
elite.
Effectively.
Wasn't it Biden
they
who
are
said
to be in servitude to the population?
Wasn't it Biden who said, "We the people," and he's like, "It's we the people, we the government." That's what he thought that.
I was like, "We the people." That means we the government.
I was so cringe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, and then actually, right before we started the podcast, gang, we were inside our Discord talking about this. Casey brought up another good point, and I have an analogy for it, by the way. So I'll get to the analogy after I get to the point. Is they're mixing some good and bad legislation on some of these initiatives. So case in point is, all of us want an ID for voting. And that is included in some of these bills. But also, too, the requirements for doing a ballot initiative are increased. So they're mixing good legislation in with bad. So we are not against, by the way, when we're calling about these bills, when we're emailing about these bills, we are not against voter ID or voter registration for voting at all. We are against raising the requirements for ballot initiatives. That's what we're against. So hopefully there's severability, and they can do that in the perfection process for any of these bills. And so, but the analogy is this: is how much dog poop do you want to put in your brownie mix? Like 1% dog poop, 50% dog poop. That's basically what we're getting with some of these bills when they put the good stuff in with the bad stuff. And
they're raising the levels of dog poop in our brownie.
Yep, that's correct. That's exactly what they've done.
There's an old term for this. It's called bait and switch.
Yep, bait and switch. Okay, so let's get
stuff together.
Yep, let's get back to this, and I want to get you guys the bill numbers here. This one's House Joint Resolution number 79. This one here has already passed the House and is now in committee in the Senate. I'm sorry, has it been assigned to committee, Casey?
Yes, it's been assigned to the Local Government and Elections Committee. That's the same committee the other two have already passed out of, but haven't been assigned to another committee yet.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is, and by the way, I'll go ahead. I've linked this already, you guys, in the YouTube chat. This one, we want to say no to any changes to ballot initiatives. We don't, the fact that they want to have voter ID is great. They should do that. In fact, I always thought that was a law to begin with. I didn't know that you could bring in a bill, apparently, and, that apparently that was a proof of identity, like your electric bill or something. I don't know. But
driver's license is all I ever use.
Yep, driver's license is what I use too. I have a voter ID or a voter card, but I don't bring that in. I just bring my driver's license in, and they always take it, and they've got a machine that scans it and takes a picture of it or something. When I do that, when I vote,
make sure it's in the records.
Yep. So okay. So at any rate, that's the first one. Let's move on to the second one, and that is. Let's see, Senate Joint Resolution number 31. I'm about to link this down in the YouTube chat. Oh, hey, Travis is with us. Hey there, Travis. Nice to have you, man.
Well, Travis, I agree 100%. Government doesn't have rights. It can't be a victim.
Yep. And let's see, and then the next one is Senate Joint Resolution number 37. And I'm going to link that down into the chat as well. Guys, I'll put this all in the description section even before we finish up the video today. But these are things that we definitely want to call on. We want to call and literally tell them, we want this stuff gone away. I mean, this whole thing with raising the requirements for a ballot initiative is not good for us as Missouri residents. It's good for them as politicians. This is a bill to serve the government, to serve the senators, the governor, anyone who's elected in Missouri, that we want to strongly reconsider them after they go into office and they end up being not so good a person, and we decide it's gotten to a level where we as the people need to throw them out of office because they don't have the values and the morals to leave themselves. This is how we get rid of them. And so that's just one example. But another example is anything else we'd want to put, a constitutional amendment. That's one thing we could use a ballot initiative for as well. Like, for instance, if we wanted to make the SEPA law that we have here part of the Constitution of Missouri, this is exactly how we do it, is with a, ballot initiative. We'd collect signatures. We'd get it put on the ballot so we can amend the Constitution of the state of Missouri. So this is a useful tool to us as residents, as citizens, as the state of Missouri, and they're making it harder for us to use it. So that's what we're talking about tonight. That's what the three bills I've just linked in the YouTube deal with, and we want all of them to leave the ballot initiative requirements alone. That's what we're asking for. And I'll even make one sample phone call live for you guys like I always do. I'll do that here in just a little while. And it'll be to voicemail because obviously it's Sunday night and no one's in the Senate. But at least you guys can hear me leave the message and how I talk to them about it. So Okay, before we go on to the YouTube chat, does anyone have anything to add at this point in time?
Well, I think another thing that should be mentioned too. It doesn't just raise which one was it here? 79 doesn't just raise the percentage of, but the percentage of the signatures they need. It also gets rid of the 2/3 of congressional districts and has to be done in all congressional districts.
Yeah, in fact, we need that particular one. House Joint Resolution 70 needs to be killed. It needs to be gone. That one needs to. It's the other two that have a little bit of good in with a lot of bad.
And the really scary thing about 79 is, I'll just pull it up real quick. Is at the end it shows you how the ballot itself is gonna read. Okay, it says, shall the Missouri Constitution be amended to allow only citizens of the United States qualify as legal voters? And people say, well, yeah, that's fine. Require initiative petitions proposing to amend the Constitution to be reviewed by the voters in each congressional district. And people are going to say, yeah, that's great, and that is. I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I'd be fine with that. Require initiative amendments to the Constitution be approved by a 2/3 vote. What they don't tell you is those two things where you're going to raise it from, 5 to 8%, and then 2/3 of the congressional districts to all of them. In other words, that won't appear on the ballot. They're not going to mention that. So people are going to read this and say, oh, okay. And they'll vote for it, and they're not going to know they're getting the threshold rate, that they're getting the number of signatures and the districts you got to put them in. See, they'll be hiding that from the public. That won't be on the ballot language. So that's a pretty weasel thing to do. Like I said, they're really trying to shove these things down our throats.
Yep. And
very Wizard of Oz. Ignore the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. Yeah. They're building the man behind the curtain with legislation like this. That's what they're doing.
Behind the Iron Curtain.
Yeah. So, guys, we've been concentrating on the House recently, and we're going to go back to the House on Thursday night with our live stream. Remember now, for the rest of the legislative season, that's for the next 6 weeks, 2 live streams a week. That'll be Thursday nights at 7:30 and Sunday at 7:30 as well. And we'll probably be switching to and from Senate to House, but we'll let you know which is which every time we do it. But we don't have anything new to report on the House right now, but I guarantee you by Thursday we'll have a lot to report to you what's going on in the House and what you can do. And what you can do for this particular issue we're dealing with right now in the Senate, the best thing is just to kill all the bills. Just kill them. Actually, that's really good that you brought that up, Donkey and Casey. Just kill them. So what you're doing is you're calling to literally the bills that we have presented to you tonight, which I will have in the description section, all need to die in the Senate. Just die. So that's what you're calling for, is basically killing them. And then give an explanation that the raising the bar for a ballot initiative is not in the interest of the people. Because once again, there's a fail-safe, gang. If they want to say, well, the George Soros types and the George Soros organizations can come in and actually do strange, horrible things in the state of Missouri with the ballot initiative, just remember, it always still goes on the ballot. The people get to vote on it. So if we're going to assume that 51% of the people are bad people and want to do what George Soros wants, then I guess I can understand their point of view. But this is a very conservative state. I don't see that. But what I do see happening, my friends, is people getting angry with politicians in Missouri and there's rumblings about there was rumblings about actually removing Governor Parson. And that was happening last fall. And that's no joke. We were actually there, not us. I don't know. We joked about it a couple of times on the chat, on our live streams. We joked about it, but of course we weren't going to do anything about it. Not at this time, anyway. But maybe that has something to do with all this. But it still needs to go away. All these bills we're talking about need to go away, and I'll make a sample call here in just a little while here. Right now, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to read a few of the YouTube chats here. Let's see. American Patriot says, let's see. I got permanently suspended from Twitter today. Not for anything more than spreading the truth about things they don't want being spread, like the Hunter Biden laptop and proof about election fraud. But see, this is American Patriot. First of all, I am really sorry that happened to you, and that really sucks. But it's just more proof that the censorship, is getting worse. And in fact, I was talking to Liberty Revolutionary on the phone earlier today, and I'm starting to feel that a little bit on our Twitter account. On the the Missouri Freedom Initiative Twitter account, we're starting to feel a little bit of that shadow banning and pressure from Twitter. And I didn't even post stuff like that. I'm just posting. Go ahead.
I was going to say something too. When it comes to getting banned on Twitter, you can get around that. Burner number, create another false email address, and then on the app on your phone, whatever you have it on, delete all of your app data, and then delete the app and reinstall it and set it up under those two false pretenses. You can get back on there.
Yep. So that's the thing, these social medias that we've been counting on for a long time to be able to spread the word, get information out there, because the mainstream media, and by the way, even the very platform we're on right now, YouTube, is heavily censored. And I think they would even say that they're censoring. Of course, they say that, it's fact-checking. Facebook says they're fact-checking. Facebook has admitted that their fact checks are based on opinion. Hey there, Susie Bosch. I haven't seen Susie in a while. And I hate to put you on the spot there, Travis, but please put into the YouTube chat when your next meeting is going to be. And also, I did put Travis's channel into the YouTube chat. If you guys are not subscribed to Travis's channel, actually, I have to admit, that's where I get most of my news from. I actually don't touch the news anymore at all, except for Travis's videos. So, and I really, really enjoy the way Travis presents the news. But I want to get back to the cynicism of this in just a little bit. Let's see. Gary Ride says, just watched last two videos you put out before you got on here. Good information. Keep up the good work. At American Patriot. Okay, American Patriot, do you have a YouTube channel? Is there something I need to know about here? Let's see. Ganai says, good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And yes, thank you. Please like, share, subscribe, spread the word. Let people know about us here in Missouri and what we're doing here. Very, very precious little evidence of other states doing what we're doing, which is so very simple, which is reading bills and conveying the information to the people of Missouri and letting them know what they can do to take corrective action for bad things happening in Missouri or positive action for good things happening in Missouri. That's really essentially what we do, gang. There's nothing more or less to it than that. It's simple to do, and it can be done in every state. And let's see. Hibiscus says, when I say media, I mean news stations and social media. So let's see. Probably not much longer. Okay. All right. Got you guys. Okay. I'll tell you what. In just I'm gonna you guys start up some conversation here. I'm gonna get those bills posted in the description section of this video. So further discussion about these bills, thoughts on these bills?
First off, Ben, is that you, Hibiscus?
Yeah.
I know it's you.
I was writing and typing and listening, and I'm interacting on all levels.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us.
But I don't know. My opinion on these bills. I mean, granted, I'm a foreigner. I'm from the faraway land of Ohio. But as somebody, with some education here, these bills need to die.
Yep, I'm putting in the description section, kill this bill after every single link, gang. Let's just kill all of them. I bet that these bills are not good for Missourians. That's
the good in the bills does not outweigh the negatives.
The bad, yeah.
It'd be like, cool, it's like shooting yourself in the foot and going, but I have a Band-Aid. Sorry if that was graphic.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't worry about it.
But hey, we definitely want to call and kill these bills. But like this one, that's the HJR 79. It's been sent to the local government elections committee. I wonder if we can. I still think I should contact the two Democrats and ask them to put up amendments, taking all the the raising of the thresholds out, and leave the rest in it. I mean, just to see if they can get those amendments to pass, because the reason why why I'm thinking about doing that, I mean, is if they actually do that and they get turned down, that's not going to make the Republicans look that good.
Yep. And I want to remind everyone.
I'm not asking something everybody else should do, but I just thought I might try that one myself, see if it happens.
It'd be worth it. See if you can get it. See if they can get amended, and then if not, kill them.
Yeah,
I mean the bills.
Exactly.
Kill the bills.
We just need everybody to call and say kill the bills because that's what we want. But I'm just for the heck of it, I'm thinking about just contacting 2 Democrats because they voted down both HJR 31 or SJR 31 and 37, even though the Republicans voted for them. They passed out of committee. But you got this one coming in that committee. I want to contact those 2 Democrats and see if they'll add amendments taking out the raising the thresholds and just keep the good stuff. Because what I would be interested in, if they would do that, and if the Republicans turned it down, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of forcing it. To me, if I was a Democrat, man, why wouldn't you do that? You know what, Patrick? I bet if I called Rizzo and told him to talk to him and have him do that, what do you think he would do?
Rizzo? Well, first of all, you got to get him to take your call.
Yeah, that's true.
Hate to say that, man, but
I guess I might have to drive up there and talk to him or something.
Yep.
Just hang out by his door and wait for him, kidnap him, take him to a corner somewhere and have a discussion. I don't know, but I think that would be great because if you had those 2 Democrats would do that, and if I was a Democrat, then you're basically an endangered species in this state, anyways.
Yep.
Why not throw that at them? Why not force their hand?
Yep.
And if they say no, we don't want to do that, holy cow, are you kidding me?
Yep. I mean, that's something to consider.
Look, they're playing dirty, trying to take away our right to the ballot initiative. We need to fight them. We can throw everything at them that we can. Because I'll tell you what, I don't care you a D or an R or what, man. Good is good and bad is bad. This is bad legislation. Whatever it takes to make it painful for them, try and pass these. I'm all for it.
Yep.
I think, man, if I was a Democrat, I'd jump on that.
Yeah.
You basically forcing their hand. I don't see why they wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't talked to anyone. I don't have any inside information on this, on why these are even happening in the first place. There's something going on here that they're not talking to us about yet, or they don't want us to know. It's obvious to me.
But
to me, it kind of sounds like either federal bribery or they don't want something that we may have planned out shoved into the Constitution of the state of Missouri.
Yep. I mean, I don't know any other way to
also our outreach in terms of actually getting information to people on, how in general the vote on certain things is spreading. So they don't like that. They don't like it at all. So they got to raise that barrier.
It's definitely a concerning thing that the General Assembly would actually try to take steps to actually squeeze and limit the regular constituent out. That's limiting freedom is it's a bad thing. Anyone could agree. Article, let's see, it's in the Missouri Constitution. I believe it's Article 1, Section 3.
Mm-hmm.
We have the right to change or alter the Missouri Constitution as we see fit.
Yep.
And the fact that they're going to just infringe a little bit is a concerning move. We shouldn't ever give an inch, because if you give an inch, they'll take a mile.
Yep.
This year it's a little bit, and then it's a little bit, and it's a little bit. And we really need to stop looking towards our General Assembly to solve our problems. Let's not be afraid to vote away bad stuff. So if something bad comes in, Missouri should know better, and we should be able to vote no. We're smart enough. The fact that the legislators, they're going to think that we're not smart enough or capable enough, that's BS. What they're afraid of is us circumventing them and getting tired of their laziness. Just like Everybody should know that we have the chance to change the Constitution coming up. And if we vote yes to change the Missouri Constitution, then we get to hold elections and we actually get to elect delegates to go to a convention to change the Missouri Constitution the way those delegates see fit. And we can actually rewrite the Missouri Constitution, and we can be a leader in what true freedom is and exercising the 10th Amendment could really mean for us. We could really redo how they did cannabis dirty. We can really truly make free markets. We could really put forth a lot of true freedom loving constitutional changes coming up, and they don't want that, and that scares them. So because they're going to push us to the point where we're so pissed off, pardon my language, that they don't want us to be able to combat them and circumvent them. So they're trying to take moves now to block us from that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's one way. There's still one way to combat them, even if all else fails. But we'd rather try to avoid that one.
Yeah.
Always diplomatically, most definitely.
Yeah.
You know, our right
Right.
to the ballot initiative shall not be infringed. So anytime they try to raise a threshold, that's an infringement on our ballot initiative.
Agreed.
You know,
Yeah.
the funny thing is, so I'm looking right at it. Section 3, Article 1, Section 3 of the Missouri Constitution. It's that the people of this state have the inherent sole and exclusive right to regulate the internal government and police thereof, and to alter and abolish their constitution and form of government whenever they deem it necessary to their safety and happiness, provided such change is not repugnant to the Constitution of the United States.
There you go. It's right
So
there.
they want to infringe on
And
it a little bit.
that's our right. That's not the legislature's right. They don't have
Government
rights.
doesn't have rights. Government does not.
They don't.
They are the subservient. They are the subordinate.
They're
Exactly.
there to do what we want them to do.
Yep.
Exactly. Oh, and I would like to take an opportunity to point out one of their issues was the Constitution, Missouri Constitution's too thick or too big.
Yeah.
I running as a libertarian. One of our party platforms that we want to do is we actually want to shorten the Missouri Constitution by moving all sections regarding licensed boards, commissions, and agencies to new chapters of the Missouri revised statutes. And so they can shove that argument right out the window if they want to.
Well, that's another good one we can put out there. That's a very good idea, Robert.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
I just went to to liven up the conversation a little bit. I went to an economic development forum here in my city of Nevada, and I felt like I walked into a different environment because the current representative Patricia Pike was there. There was a few other candidates that are actually, there's a candidate running from my district on the Republican ticket was there. And then there was a few other local races. Their candidates were there. Well, they were explaining on our ballot, we have a ballot coming up on April 5th to vote on a 1% use tax increase for the Vernon County. And it's for out-of-state internet purchases. And so as a libertarian, we're naturally against raising taxes. So our county wants to raise taxes, 1% use tax on out-of-state internet purchases. And I was like, well, their excuses were it'll make the local businesses more competitive because now no matter where you go, you'll pay the same amount of tax. And my question was, well, is there anything we could do to make our local businesses more competitive without raising taxes? And nobody in the room could come up with anything. And so, I'm going to take it upon myself to solve the problem, because they estimate this 1% use tax will be worth $100,000 in collected taxes. And I believe that our Vernon County could probably save $100,000 somehow. And if they can't cinch the belt to offset needing to raise the tax, then they're doing it wrong. So I'm sitting in a room of all these Republican candidates, and every single one of them are okay with raising taxes.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean?
Robert, you're right. The problem here is we're going into inflation right now. This is the time where American households tighten the belt. Government isn't
Exactly.
tightening the belt. What they're doing is they're trying to expand. They want a brand new belt that is going to cover a bigger waistline, and that's a problem. American households don't get to do that.
Exactly. And it's just odd that, you know, every single candidate, especially the candidate that was that's running against me in my district, said, well, I'm a Republican and I hate taxes just as much as everybody, but it's a necessary evil. And the thing is they can't think of anything else other than raise taxes and raise, you know, more revenue, other than where can we save at? And, you know, and I was thinking like, how can we save a little bit of money in our local governments? Well, we have these high schools, and there's two colleges in my in the town of Nevada. There's Crowder and Cotty College. Why can we not take volunteers to learn how local governments work? And these volunteers are part of an educational courses or job vocational you know, credits. Why can we not bring people in a voluntary system to help operate and offset costs? And then we're also training up the next generation that's going to eventually have to take over these local governments anyway. In my area, all the road graders are old people for the most part. So when these older people can't do it anymore, where are the road graders going to come from? And, you know, there's all kinds of things to think about that we could do that isn't just raise money or raise taxes is what they want to do.
Yeah, Anthony Weberg on YouTube just brought up a great point, and I'm going to expand on it. He says, whatever happened to less spending? Where's the opposition to tax increases? LOL. He's referring to the Republicans. That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
What's happened, the Republicans used to be for smaller government and for lower taxes. Now all they are is for lower taxes, but they are for increasing the size of government, which increases debt. And increased debt means eventually we're going to have to pay it back. So, you know, guys, you're right. The Republican Party is failing us. There is no doubt about it. Now, there are very good Republicans out there, don't get me wrong, but the party in general has failed. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Hey, Robert, I'm going to ask you a question. On the national scene, when's the last time you saw a Republican running for national office that wanted to lower taxes and decrease the size of government?
Oh, shoot. I'd say the last election, but the unfortunate part is I have not seen a Republican actually reduce the size of government or lower taxes.
Yep. Well, technically, the last Trump did talk about not raising taxes. He didn't say anything about lowering taxes. He did talk about cutting spending a little bit. He didn't say anything about shrinking government.
He did say he's going to pay off the national debt in 4 years.
Well, they all say that. Even Biden is saying that. He's saying he's going to take care of the deficit. That's wonderful. He's not going to, of course. It's talking points. Not. But the last person I remember, when George Bush Jr. was running for president in 2000, was the last time I remember someone running for president saying we have to shrink government. And of course, no one grew government more than George Bush did. We all know this.
Patriot Act,
yep.
NDAA.
Yep, that's correct. Homeland Security, TSA. I mean, we could go on and on. But he did campaign on lowering taxes and then shrinking government. He campaigned on that to win the first election that he had in 2000.
We need to tie taxes to the rate of inflation.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and also,
taxes go down.
Remember now, we have a ballot, everyone, literally in 2 days here in the state of Missouri on Tuesday. Now, I don't want to make this a big issue, but please go out and vote because this is your school boards here. Anyone on the school board who voted for, putting face diapers on or the possibility of, the plunger in the kid's arm, that sort of thing, you need to get rid of them in your school boards. I mean, this is parents' decision.
We need to find a list of them. Pardon for the interruption, but who are those people? I need a list to decide where can we find that kind of information.
And Robert, maybe you can answer that question because I told him Twitter and Facebook for local elections because those local elections have positions that don't pay, salaries really. So they don't mount these big, campaigns with websites and this and that and the other thing. So where would
Most
people?
Where's some watchdog groups like we have in the bigger elections? And those are hard to find good information.
All right. First of all, most of your municipalities will have a government website now, and you can go on those and find out who's running. And then you can contact each of those people and ask them where they stand on stuff. That's the best way to do it instead of looking for, the media. That'd be the first thing I'd do. If you got any questions about anyone.
I think the best is to see their voting records on what they voted for, like jabs and masks.
That would be the school district. So look at the school district minutes.
Right.
You would actually go to the district website, and then you can bring up the minutes from all votes and all meetings, and you should be able to find that information for your district.
There you go. Thank you.
Remember, inflation, good. Just like the White House said, inflation is good for the economy. When the prices are inflated, they get more tax revenue.
That's correct. Yep. So, and also the federal government lies about the rate of inflation. John Williams at Shadowstat literally has the inflation rate 2 times the government's rate. And so where the government's saying it's about 8% inflation a year right now, John Williams says it's 16%, but based on all kinds of independent economists, they say it's much closer to 25%. 25% inflation. So all you have to do is look at gasoline, groceries, the price of homes, things of that nature, how much they've gone up in the last year. And now that they're starting to raise interest rates again, you can expect the price of homes to go down, but that's about it.
Have we not
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
seen the price of gas go up?
Yes, we have.
It's doubled.
Yep. It
That's
has.
100%.
Yep, that's correct.
100%. Milk. Pushing 100% inflation.
Yep.
We're getting it. Oh, we're getting it bad, y'all.
Yep.
And it's only started. It's only started.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, gang, before we continue on with the conversation, you guys want me to make a sample phone call right now to a senator, leave a voicemail about what we should do about these joint resolution bills? We can do that.
You guys know that the Department of Agriculture is calling all farmers to destroy their crops and cattle.
Oh yeah, no, I can attest to that. One of my employees
That's been
at my old
2
shop.
years.
Oh yeah, no, one of my employees, Moonslight, as a milk delivery. He drives the big milk tankers. Yeah, he took 3 loads of about 30,000 gallons of milk and just dumped it in a landfill. And then they said, "Oh, we have to raise prices for milk because there's a shortage."
Uh-huh. Sounds like government intervention to me.
Yeah, farmers getting
like
This is why people in Missouri here say screw that, and they proceed to just sell it directly.
Well, see,
Because
that's businesses.
From the dairy.
Businesses need to start being more careful with, and the municipalities and the state as well, about taking government subsidies, because once you start getting reliant on these government subsidies, then you're setting yourselves up to be manipulated and trapped. And that's what a lot of this is going on. Actually, they're being.
But the price of things are going up so high. The farmers need the subsidies to stay alive.
Well, the farmers have been on subsidies for quite some time now, and we have been blocking the free market and been manipulating it. So we have these artificial prices. And whenever we have calamity of any type of unrest, whether it be political or weather or crop failures, whatnot, it jams us. And it's because we don't have a functioning free market. And we hindered products like hemp for the last 100 years. And this is what happens when you prop up industries that should have failed or become a lot less prevalent. And that's our government. You have these large special interest organizations, soy, corn, fuel, trees, and they all lobby Congress and lobby our General Assembly in our state as well to pass laws that are beneficial towards the highest paid lobbyist. And this is what you have. We don't have a free market anymore. And that's another gripe that I have with Republicans and the Democrats is we don't have these free markets. Every time the government gets involved in the medical field, what happens? Our medical stuff goes up. Every time it gets involved in ag goes up. Every time it gets involved in the fuel goes up. So we really need to back off all these regulations that hinder the free flow, because Congress was supposed to make the commerce move smooth. It wasn't supposed to restrict and block it and dam it up. And this is what happens. We also have a fake currency. So we need to get back to the gold and silver standard, and we wouldn't see these types of events happening.
Yep. Good points, Robert. Thank you.
Hemp was one of Missouri's biggest exports. Missouri was one of the biggest hemp producers. We got shitty land here, but you know what? Hemp grows, and it grows good here. And it's the most useful plant on earth, the best I can tell.
Yep. Hemp brings you freedom and independency, and therefore anything that brings us freedom and independency has also been targeted by the government.
Correct me.
Because if you look,
go ahead. I'm sorry, Robert.
Well, I was going to say, if you look, anything that brings us will give us independence from the government is actually restricted and outlawed. And so the government is actually trying to form a system that brings us towards the centralization and dependency of its existence. And that's why hemp has been targeted. If you look at the FDA, it started off as, getting rid of like these snake oil salesmen. But what it did was actually eliminate all natural remedies that we have and turned us into a synthetic drug manufacturing consumer. And then whenever you have a natural remedy that actually works, it's actually stifled and considered, I guess, like tomfoolery. It's not something that you should look towards, like pseudoscience. And these remedies are actually out there. There's plants out there that cure cancer, but we have to take synthetic drugs. There's things out there that brings us independency from the centralization. And so look into it. Anytime the government tries to restrict you, it's to bring you closer to them.
Or they just let corporate do it themselves.
When we're restricted, what can we really do? Because I know exactly what you're saying. I don't like saying marijuana because that's a freaking, it's a racist statement. It's cannabis. And cannabis is dang near the cure for everything. But because they can't regulate it.
Yep. We are on YouTube.
Am I going too far? Am I going too far?
Maybe just a tad.
All right.
For us,
well, then I'm done. I'm done.
YouTube, yes.
I'm done.
Because YouTube doesn't like it.
Yeah, we could discuss these things after the show's over and we stay in the Discord for a little bit. Hey, guys, I'm going to go ahead and make my phone call real quick. So everyone who's currently watching us live on YouTube can actually hear a sample of what it's like to call a senator and ask them to kill a bill. And so we'll do that live, and it'll be voicemail. Or because, obviously it's Sunday night, they're not open. But then I'll ask you all, if those of you have the time, the inclination, the will, please call up your senator and ask them to kill these bills. All right, I'm calling Senator Eric Burleson. So,
Excellent. This is a great idea, Patrick.
Hey, he's supposed to be a hardcore conservative, right? He's a hardcore conservative?
Yes, he is.
Well, then he's good. If he is good.
Yep. Hi, you've reached the offices of Senator Eric Burleson. We're unable to take your call right now, but please leave a message and we'll get back with you as soon as possible.
You may start your message now.
Hi there, Senator Burleson. This is Patrick Holland. I'm a constituent, and I'm asking you to do something special for me today. I need you to kill 3 bills. I need you to vote no on 3 bills that are going to be coming your way here real soon. The first one is House Joint Resolution 79, followed by the Senate Joint Resolution 31, and then Senate Joint Resolution 37. All 3 of these bills are raising requirements for ballot initiatives. This doesn't serve the constituents at all. This serves, the politicians and government. I could go on and on this voicemail about the bad things this would bring, but I do understand the point of view of politicians that want to bring this forward. But unfortunately, we're going to be the ones worst hurt, the constituents. So that's why I'm asking you to vote no on all 3 bills. If you have any questions, please do give me a call. You do have my number, Senator. So go ahead and give me a call if you have any questions. Please vote no on all 3 bills. No questions asked. If you want to perfect it and take out the ballot initiative, raising the bar for the ballot initiatives, that's fine. I have no problem at all with asking for IDs for voting. I know that's on 2 of them, but just kill the bills and then we can do something better later. But thank you very much for taking my phone call. Please give me a call back if you have any questions. Have a blessed day, Senator. Thank you. Bye. Okay, guys, that's just a sample call, and I'll refine it. You guys know because...
Hey.
Go ahead.
Share that on Facebook, the phone number.
Oh, the phone number. It's Eric Burleson. There we go. Actually, it's right here. And he is my senator. And if you guys, because I don't know if you watched this before, Robert, but I tend to do live phone calls on YouTube, and when I'm calling up on these campaigns, and they get better as I go along. It gets more refined and better and quicker and faster and better information conveyed. But this is what we're asking everyone to do. Please do call up your senators and have them kill these bills. It's now in the description section of this video. If you hit refresh on the video and then hit the description section, you'll have access to all the bills plus the senator roster. Now, the senator roster I gave you guys looks like this. All you have to do is click on a senator, any senator, and it'll bring up their page with their email address, their telephone number, all that fun stuff. So that's what you do, gang. You just give them a call and this one's a quick and easy one compared to some of the other stuff, that we're doing right now. So just call up the Senate and say no to these 3 bills. And first of all, go ahead.
These bills still have to go to committee, don't they?
Yes, but when they do, I think they're going to get through committee. That's the problem.
When they have committee, they also should have a hearing where it's open to the public, correct?
That is correct. Mm-hmm.
Well, I volunteer to show up to the one of them or even a couple of them, because we could also take if these bills concern you, then show up to the committee hearing and express it.
Absolutely,
if you're able to.
I agree.
You got me to volunteer. I'll volunteer to show up.
Gotcha. And actually, Casey Rich with us here right now is the only one that showed up for one of those hearings yet. And so he came back with a great report with great information for us. And if you have the time and if you have the gas money, to go up to Jeff City for one of these hearings, we will keep you updated on everything that we bring up that we've been asking you to do something about. So thank you, Robert, for that point. Yes, we can go up to the hearings and simply think about it for a second, gang. If 15 or 20 people showed up to say, shut this down, that would probably be enough to shut it down. But your phone calls will help. And believe it or not, you can call the committee members too. What's the name of the committee all these are in?
That's local government and elections.
Okay, let me bring that up on the
Senate
screen.
Committee.
Local government and elections.
Let's look at the people that are in it.
Okay, committees.
That'd be an interesting little thing to do.
Doing it so right now. Let's see. Committees, standing session.
I love study groups.
Research, education, administrative rules. Past committees. Select committees, interim committees. Let's go to select committees.
No.
No?
Go with the standing committees.
Standing committees? Okay.
Yeah, very first one.
Okay.
Keep going up.
Right.
Hang on. Just give it a second. Okay, what's it called again?
Local government and elections.
There we go. I
got
found it.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Uh-oh, we got crab cakes.
I told you.
Yeah, we got crab cakes. We got, okay. That's Senator Lincoln Hugh or Huff. I think it's Huff, yes. He's the one who was stalling on SEPA last year, by the way, gang.
Yeah.
So just so you know, he's not been so friendly to us. So at any rate,
if I was a betting man, I bet he lives close to Cape Girardeau.
Yeah, you bet wrong. He lives in Springfield.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
what a piece of trash.
Okay, guys, I've just put in the YouTube chat the actual local government and elections committee. So it's right there in the YouTube chat. I'll include that in the description section. I believe all 3 of these bills are with that committee.
Yes. Well, 2 of them already passed out of committee, the 2 Senate resolutions.
Okay, and they're waiting
and
for...
like I said, and HJR is 79 has been assigned to that committee. So it's going to come up sooner or later. But yeah, I mean, Sandy Crawford, she's the one who wrote SJR 37. That's her bill. The other SJR 31 is Anders' bill. And of course, we got Lincoln Huff. No more explanation needed. Yep. Senator Jason Bean, he voted down Burleson's 666 bill. But and Bratton was the one who basically told me he had to work hard to get elected so we can work harder to put something on a ballot.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Hegeman here, if I may finish, thank you. You got Dan Hegeman, he also voted down Burleson's 666 bill. And all 5 of those Republicans there voted both of those Senate resolutions through the committee. The only 2 that voted against it are your next 2. That's Senator Angela Mosley and Senator Greg Razor. That's why I want to contact them and say, hey, you should add some amendments to this and tell them what I have in mind. Because I tell you what, if I was a Democrat, I'd do that.
Yep.
Force them on there and force them to say yes or no.
Pat?
Yes.
You know Eric Burleson.
I do.
Do you believe he's going to do us that way?
I don't want to answer for the senator right now, but I do believe that I will be having a personal chat with him, and then I can actually tell the group what he said.
Fair enough.
So I don't want to guess what he's going to do on that. I'm hoping he'll do the right thing. Go ahead.
It hurts my heart.
It does. I know. I'm sorry about that.
I'm just looking at the Senate committee minutes for that. Let's see here. SJR 37, and this is funny. So the witnesses giving information: Ron Calzone, James Harris. Witnesses 4: Scott R. Clark, Missouri Secretary of State's office.
Okay.
Think about that for a second. Isn't that a conflict of interest when you're talking about
just a bit,
Section 3?
Just a little bit. Yep. But you know what though? I hate to say this because this goes back to what I opened with today, which is cynicism in the system. You just don't expect good things anymore. You just don't. And I am really ashamed to say that. But that's a fact. I mean, people generally don't expect good things out of politics anymore. I beg of you, all of you out there who are listening to this this broadcast, please do not wait for your politicians to do the right thing. Get involved and force them to do the right thing. They work for you. It's not the other way around.
Amen.
So,
amen.
This is how we do it in Missouri. You guys see what we're doing, and yes, we expose the bad things. And it hurts my heart, just like Truth Faction was saying earlier. Hurts my heart when people say in the comments section, on videos, "Oh, I knew Missouri sucked. You guys are evil." No, we're not. We're actually a very good state, and we're rising in the levels of freedom. by every indice that's available on the internet. But we're doing it by exposing all this crap. Other states don't expose their crap. We're exposing our crap because we want our state as free as humanly possible. We want all the liberties that are afforded to us by the Bill of Rights. We also want government constricted, legally, contractually constricted by the Constitution. And they're way out of bounds, guys, way out of bounds. And it doesn't matter if you're talking about a state or a federal. So it takes organization, it takes phone calls, it takes emails, it takes visits to Jefferson City to keep all these guys in check. It does. It doesn't happen on its own. So think of a game of Tetris. Okay, so everyone here has played Tetris before. If you do not maneuver and shape those blocks so they land the correct way so you can get rid of levels, they just pile on top of one another, and then you lose the game very quickly. That's what happens in politics if you don't get involved. Things just get worse and worse and worse very quickly. It's up to us, gang. It's literally up to us. So thank you to everyone in Missouri who makes phone calls, who sends emails, who visits Jefferson City, and participates in their local government, because you are the reason why we are such a great state, and we are very free here. If you look at the indexes right now, I'll tell you Missouri is number 11 in the United States on the Freedom Index. The fact of the matter is we have higher taxes here than some other states. That's the reason we're ranked so low. We should be number 5. We're number 5. We should be number 5 on the Freedom Index right now. And but once again, we're trying to get rid of a grocery store tax. You guys know about this. We'll give you an update. In fact, I will be talking to the representative tomorrow, by the way. So I've been promised yet another phone call. So we'll be dealing with that as well. This is what you have to do. Guys, forget about D.C. If you want to be a cynic about D.C. Don't be a cynic about your state or local government. Go in and make it happen. Okay, I'm sorry for taking over the floor like that.
Even at the school board level.
Sure, absolutely. Of course on the school board level. And we have elections coming for school boards literally in 2 days, gang. 2 days. Tuesday's the day here in the state of Missouri. In 2 days, they will have local school board elections. You have a chance to change out members of your school board that voted for, I'm trying not to get in YouTube trouble here, voted to do bad things to kids, put face diapers on them, and to, do this kind of thing to them. Or, even the idea of doing that to them. Those that want vaccination centers put inside the schools, this is a bad idea. So you have a chance
Jim Jones juice.
Yeah.
I'd call it medical tyranny.
Yeah, medical tyranny.
It absolutely
Great.
is.
That's what it is.
It absolutely is.
Gary Ride says, oddly enough, I've had 3 friends call me out of the blue that I haven't heard from in years, from Oregon, Texas, and Tennessee. They're all prepping to the max. They are hunkering down hard. Gary, you're onto something here, because I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to be a pretty bad year, unfortunately. Once again, am I jaded? Am I a cynic? Absolutely I am, because we don't have good things happening in our federal government. So, and we have inflation. Big inflation.
We remember Jimmy Carter.
We do.
We're still old enough to remember Jimmy Carter.
Yep.
I honestly don't believe it's a matter of being cynical. I think it's just the facing of facts.
Yeah, it is.
We've come to that point where it's like, hey, stuff's about to hit the fan. They're encroaching more and more on our daily lives. What choices we make, what vehicles we need to drive, what we can buy at the stores. Their answers, they're micromanaging the hell out of us, and it's gonna come to a head.
Hey, credit cards, they do 14 to 20% interest, sometimes on like low rated people. It's like 25% interest on a credit card. We're all going to start paying 20% interest.
Yep. So getting rid of debt is a good thing, by the way. Let's see, we have Danny Harris chiming in. Hey there, Danny. Mr. Skunk, he's referring to Felonious Skunk. I think inflation is higher than 30% because I was paying $1.29 a gallon in gas, and now it's closer to $4 a gallon. That's like a 300% increase just on gas. Sad times. We need to fight this. That's correct. But the inflation thing, there's really nothing you can do to fight that. That has to do with the central banking system and the federal government and the printing of currency, overprinting of currency. So what you do is you get into silver and gold and other assets that will go up with inflation.
Amen.
And guys, we do this on the Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast, a different channel. We talk about the money aspect of things. I don't want to do that a whole lot on this channel, but the fact of the matter is, holding on to dollars, you're losing. And I said one time on one of the podcasts there, if you hold dollars, you're a loser. A lot of people took that the wrong way. I didn't mean loser like, loser. I meant you're losing the value of your dollar. So if you're holding on to money in a savings account, losing, it's better to hold on to gold and silver. So take that money out of the account. I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial planner. But that's how you fight inflation.
Buy coins.
Yep, and also cryptocurrencies is another option. I don't want to get into that right now, and apparently that's one that YouTube is watching now too. So, okay. The only other thing I wanted to say is this coming up week, towards the end of this week, we should have an update on our website. So be watching for that. And so I'll be getting with the web guy. And okay, guys, general discussion, and then lots of good stuff on the YouTube side here. General discussion, and then welcome to Missouri Liberty Report, by the way.
I got to say, Gary Ride's comment there, that last little bit there applies to tyrants as well. Just saying.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep. And so what about the state of currency? What about a state currency? Okay, Ethan, excellent question. Not viable, unfortunately. However, barter is always, an excellent way of doing things. Gold and silver is an excellent way to barter, but also other things as well, like we talked about crypto. And once again, I don't want to talk about crypto so much because, like I said, YouTube is going after people that talk about that right now, particularly if you talk about privacy coins. There are specific kinds of crypto that are better than others. Let's just say it that way.
I'll sell anything for ammo.
Yeah, ammo is great currency. Yeah. Ammo's great currency.
That's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things too. Is I was just gonna say this. I was telling you this on the phone earlier, Patrick. That when it comes to assets, you can't gauge a market by its currency because the currency is nothing but the intermediary.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
What you use as the middleman in between, and if you fluctuate that too much, in other words, government fluctuating that constantly, that's total and utter manipulation. But if let's say you have 20 chickens and you want to buy some turkeys, how many turkeys going to get out of those chickens? Well, okay,
10.
Probably the same. It's going to be the same constant unless there's a shortage of one or the other.
Well, it's great you brought that up because I'm going to prove to you all that you've been brainwashed. And not to you, gang. I meant the YouTube folks or people, the larger audience on YouTube. Okay. So what is the value of this? This is a pack of cigarettes or generics. Cheyenne. By the way, I am not advocating anyone smoke. I'm just using an example here.
$3.
$3 would be about right. So be about $2.50 actually. That's the value of this. What's the value of this?
0.
That's a steak.
Well, most people would say, well, that's $20. See what I did there? This was valued in something other than this. This gets valued by itself, only by itself. So you don't think of this as, how this is actually 1/20th of a barrel of oil. You don't hear people saying that. That $20 bill is worth a fifth of a barrel of oil. You don't hear, well, that's worth, a half an ounce of silver. You hear that $20 bill is worth $20. That's the brainwashing, gang. This stuff is actually worthless. absolutely worthless. It's just paper, and it's not backed by anything except for the full faith and confidence of the Federal Reserve. That's it. So,
I thought it was based on the full faith and the confidence of the American people.
well, yeah, it technically is because the American people are brainwashed.
And you're
That's
It's
that.
backed
I'm
by
sorry.
hopes and dreams.
you're subject. You're subject to the dollar.
That's correct. Yep.
It's like a prayer note.
Yep. Pretty much a
Hey,
prayer note. I love that.
Yeah.
I hope it's worth something tomorrow. Please, God, let my $20 bill buy me something tomorrow. You know?
Anything is only is worth whatever, and somebody's willing to pay for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Amen.
Yep.
So-
And so like that same pack of stogies there.
Mhm.
What could you trade that for in equivalent value?
Well, in
At this
prison,
point,
you know, it's
probably-
I'm teasing. It was a prison joke.
That's
go,
funny.
Go ahead, Liberty. I'm sorry. I had to throw that joke in.
You gave me some bad images, man.
I was thinking about how many
Oh.
packs of ramen it'd be worth, but I don't know.
Hey.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
It's true though. It's true though.
Have it now. Have it now.
what was that? What is the name of that? Oh God, what is it? Preventing. So anyway, never mind. Let's see here. Yeah, so that would probably be about what in current ammo range? What its rarity right now? Let's see here. Close to 3 rounds of 5.56.
Mm-hmm.
4 rounds. Or let's see here. You could probably buy a chicken for that.
Yeah. Hey, Gary
For
Ride.
20 rounds?
Gary Ride brought up a great point here. Hold on to your U.S. minted coins. Change. It's not Federal Reserve notes. That is correct, actually. Change is actually fundamentally worth more than the paper anyway. So, Gary, that is an excellent point. Thank you for bringing that up. I used to preach that all the time on Truth, Money, and Freedom podcasts. If you're going to hold on to something, don't make sure it's not the paper.
Hey, you know what? Have you guys been like at grocery stores lately? And a lot of them are saying that you know, either debit card or exact change because they've been short on change.
Yep, I have.
For some reason they're not minting it.
Yep. I pay cash in the grocery store, so they love me over there. So I pay cash, and I use exact change. I have coins in my pocket. They absolutely love that.
Used to have an app that gave the silver value of coins, the percentage and the weight for old coins.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, gang. Well, I'll
Can't
tell you.
find it no more.
As long as you have the old coins.
Yep. So if you're talking about the older coins with the silver content, I think that's what you're referring to. Okay.
Yeah.
Junk silver. Junk silver.
Yep. Junk silver. That's actually valuable. Very valuable stuff. Hey, guys, I'm thinking about wrapping it up here at this point. Does anyone on YouTube? I'll give you a few minutes here. If you guys have any questions about calling up your senators, emailing your senators, if you will, please do so. If you guys have any questions about that, let us know. And by the way, we'll be back to the House-related bills that we're dealing with on Thursday night. This coming up Thursday night at 7:30. We'll be back to that. But let's go ahead and give the Senate a piece of our mind on these bills that they've got going on there. And by the way, we will continue to be in Discord for at least another half an hour for those of you who want to come in and join us. Voodoo Queen says 1964 and older coins. That is correct. It was Johnson that took us off the silver standard, by the way. Right after Kennedy died, by the way. Remember how Kennedy wanted to go back to America printing its own currency, getting rid of the Federal Reserve, and then he suddenly died, and then Johnson took us off the silver standard. You know, it's kind of a strange coincidence, but it just happens to be true.
Yeah, but we're definitely
There,
not promoting any kind
There
of
was another
conspiracy
strange
here,
coincidence when McKinley got killed,
Mm-hmm.
and Theodore took over, Roosevelt took over, and shortly after that took steps that helped kill the gold standard. And I think that's kind of interesting.
Yep.
Message.
I just think it's interesting that any foreign power that tries to go back to the gold standard, all of a sudden now they're tyrannical and there's regime change.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like Gaddafi? Whenever they fucking drug, I'm sorry. Whenever they
Yes.
drug him through the
Gaddafi,
well,
Saddam
through the
Hussein.
streets. Yeah.
Now Putin.
Well, Saddam Hussein was one of ours anyway. So.
Yes, he was.
But Gaddafi was completely independent.
Yeah.
He wasn't one of ours.
No, he was not
and he
CIA
was doing
installed.
everything he could to do right for his people.
Yeah.
And then they killed him. And now they have a international money change.
Okay, gang. Well, I'll tell you
yeah,
what.
that
We haven't had anything else come up on YouTube for questions. If you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now. And I want to thank all of you. The information that you need is in the description section below to make your phone calls. Just have them kill everything. I mean, that's the best way of handling this, the most efficient way of handling it. Kill all 3 bills. Just kill them.
Kill them all.
Yep. That is, so that's what,
Amen.
and that's the phone call. You guys heard me make a sample phone call. I left a voicemail with my senator, Eric Burleson. But that's what I would do. But I do want to thank every one of you for joining us tonight. We had a lot of people show up in YouTube here. A lot of participation on YouTube, guys. I love it. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone here in Discord who's joined us. I want to say a special thanks to Doc Webb, Docky Punch, Casey Rich, Liberty Revolutionary, also known as Caleb, Missouri Liberty Report, also known as John. Rebel Cry has been with us. Robert Smith has been participating quite a bit. Thank you so much, buddy. And, of course, Truth Faction. So thank you all for joining us. Okay, gang, you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Remember now, Tuesday, you go in to vote on school councils or school board members. So please do so and do your research. Find out, you need to vote out people that were not friendly to the parents. Remember now, the school board members literally wanted the FBI involved. If you went in and questioned them on their decisions they were making about face diapers or serums or social distancing or any other rules, related to the beer flu. Remember that. They want the FBI to investigate parents that want to have a say in how the school is run. Please remember that when you go to the polls on Tuesday. This is very important. And thank you to American Patriot, who's saying thanks very much for the podcast. You guys all have a wonderful week. May God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you on Thursday, and by Thursday, maybe we'll have some updates on school councils as well. You guys take care. God bless.
Hallelujah.